Today's Japanese slang term is heddonhoho, which are these. Do you like them? They cost me 10 trillion yen. Anyway, heddonhoho is a playful way of saying headphones. So you can use it when you talk about your headphones. This term originates in 2chan, as it was specifically the invention of somebody in a random thread that was posted on March 14th of 2011. Now, whether or not this respelling of heddonhoho as heddonhoho was intentional or a typo is something that is debated, but basically the person posted that they bought a heddonhoho, which cost 10 trillion yen, and this was seen as amusing not only due to the typo, but the fact that they actually took the time to type out all those zeros. As you can see, the initial comments to this thread all found it to be very, very funny, ultimately resulting in, assuming Wayback is right, about 141 comments all about this term. Importantly though, this thread was actually doubly influential because within this discussion, actually the 88th comment, somebody stated that they bought an even more expensive, adding a 5 in there and I believe some other zeros, Iyan hoho, which of course is a earphone. And this all happened within a single day, so the terms were birthed like kind of as a pair. Now that doesn't mean they immediately saw use though, despite that it's pretty obvious how you would use them, as if you look at uses of heddonhoho and Iyan hoho on Twitter, for instance, in 2011, most of them are actually just talking about the thread. They're saying like, oh look, these terms are funny. But if you check Google Trends, interest in heddonhoho stabilizes around the end of like 2012, and indeed looking on Twitter around late 2012, early 2013 is when I started to see the first real collections of posts like these where people are using these words in context to actually refer to the items rather than just saying like, haha, they're funny words. As you can see in all the sentences here, which use the words in context. So in some timelines, I'm sure that's where this discussion would end, with the terms just kind of petering out as people lose interest in them. But that's not where this story ends, because in 2022, the VTuber Kaida Haru, who I know nothing about because I am out of touch, and doing my best to somehow explain things that the kids are interested in, despite not being one of the kids, but they seem to be pretty popular because they have like 800,000 followers. But yeah, anyway, they're a person, people were paying attention to the things they say, and they typed for no apparent reason that their Iyan hoho broke. Part of the reason that this got popular, of course, was that, again, lots of fans, but also the people in what we call the Internet Rojinkai, or like the old days of the internet, saw this being used by a major figure and then retweeted it, etc. And this resulted in a huge spike of interest. Like, look at the Google Trends chart for Iyan hoho. It's in the exact date. August 2022, it's not hard to guess where the interest is. And like this went so viral and got so much attention that at least one terrestrial Japanese television program decided to talk about it like on the news. These are the screenshots. It happened. This was something that they thought the people that touch grass needed to hear about. And as a result, Iyan hoho and heddonhoho actually are still alive. I wouldn't recommend using them necessarily, but they are not as obscure as one would think, given that their origin is in just one single 2chan thread. And it's not like they were super obscure before 2022 either. For instance, quite amusingly, way before she became famous back in 2018, Ado used Iyan hoho in a now deleted tweet, but which of course has been preserved because that's how the internet works. But our story actually doesn't even end there, because there's a third term that appeared out of all of this. Basically, back in January of 2014, so just a few years after heddonhoho and Iyan hoho were birthed, somebody made a post where they said that their younger brother broke their Iyan hoho, so they in turn smashed up the heddonhoho, which is just like the same thing as heddonhoho, of their younger brother. To which, literally the first comment was Inga Ohoho. Now, if you don't understand that, you should have taken my recommendations from years ago and listened to Japanese extreme metal, because that's where I learned the term that this is referencing. It's a very educational and edifying genre of music. But if you've made bad listening choices in your life, I'll get you up to speed, because Inga Oho is a Japanese yojijukugo, 4 kanji combination that refers to like karmic justice, somebody getting their just desserts. So Inga Ohoho is the karmic justice for your younger brother destroying your Iyan hoho, which in turn you destroy their heddonhoho. Ho 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 ho. It's very Santa coded. They're Santa maxing. They're Santa pilled and in their Santa era. So as a result, if for instance you watch a VTuber run around in a video hitting people but then they get hit by a car, you can use Inga Ohoho to say that they deserved it. And that's basically that. And I think that because I've done such a great job explaining all this to you, my karmic reward is a chance to chill out and listen to some Inga Oho.